What's up, guys? In today's video I'll do a little overview of my mini excavator. I've operated it for 150 hours now, and just some things I thought about if I was going to order one again, what I would do differently, what I would keep, and yeah, just give you some hints in case you want to get one of these too. I gotta say, I love it. So let's start out with a quick overview of mine. So I got the cab. It's a SD25B. It would make sense that that's a 2.5 tons, but I think it's a 3-ton unit. I have a Yanmar engine, so that is a lot extra compared to the price you initially see quoted if you want to ship to the US, because it is EPA certified. Alright, so what I did when I ordered it was I got the option for the thumb. I got an auger, which is a separate video of that when I installed it. I got the cab. What else? I think that's about it. So here we go. Let's get into what I would do differently if I was gonna buy one of these again, now that I have 150 hours on the machine. So number one is something that I added extra that was not mandatory, but absolutely would be mandatory if I was to order one again. It is the thumb. You can see it right up there, and it just pinches down on logs when I lift them, or rocks. It is a must-have if you were to order a mini excavator, so absolutely get a thumb. Number two is I would go ahead and add some more options when when you order it. First, I would add a grading bucket. The grading bucket allows you to change the angle of the bucket. It's a little wider than this, has no teeth on it, and just allows you to move sand and dirt around and get it level or get it parallel with the ground, whatever you want. It uses the hydraulic option here to change the angle of the bucket, and yeah, I really wish I had one. When you look at them over here, they are so expensive. What I would probably not get is the auger that I bought, unless I had a quick disconnect, which we'll get to that later. It just takes too long to attach it. I'm not setting up an orchard here where I need, you know, like 300 of these posts dug in the ground. So when I have like 3 or 4 of them, it's a lot easier to get a post digger out than it is to mount the auger. Good thing though is the auger works really well. If you do want it, then you know, get it. Now for number 3, it's related to the thumb. It has to do with the controls. So if you go with any, at least US models that I've seen, the thumb control is over here on your actual thumb. That's not the case on this one. It is a foot control down here, and I'm 6'2", and I have a hard time just getting my foot into that position to move it. So I would much rather have a more expensive controller up there, pay an extra couple $100 if that's an option, just to have the control up there. One of the issues, as mentioned in my previous videos with the cab, is that it gets so hot in here. So what I've done is I added some packaging material that I got from a battery that I ordered from China, and I'm sitting on that just to get a little bit of insulation from the heat of the seat, because the seat is sitting right on top of the motor or behind the motor, and there's so much heat coming through here. There's no heat shield. Well, with that being said, I am 6'2", and sitting in here, there's not enough height in here, so I have to have a horrible posture to be able to sit there without hitting my head in the ceiling. It's definitely, the cab is meant for someone who's a little bit shorter than me. It did come from China, so the average height over there is a little lower, so that is probably the reason why. Number 5 has to do with the hydraulic motors. I'm not sure if it has to do with the motors themselves in the tracks, or if it's the hydraulic power plant, but I get stuck all the time where I have to, you know, rock it back and forth just to be able to turn in place. And the motors are back in there. I'm sure they would work harder if they had a more powerful hydraulic power pack. So if there's an upgrade there, whether it's the motors in the tracks or the hydraulic power pack itself, see if there's a stronger motor, just so you don't have to go back and forth and turn a little bit more. Just being able to do that tank turn in place, that's only something I can do on really loose ground. Yeah, get that. For number 6, this is more of a question than anything, but if there is an option to get counterweights added on the back here, so at least a place where that's welded into the chassis, where I could add weights so that when I go ahead and lift up something heavy, it doesn't get so tippy. If you look at the, not the wheelbase, but the length of my tracks here, they're not very long, right? So when I go and pick up a long or a heavy log, it can easily lift it up as far as the hydraulics go up here in the boom, but it does get very tippy forward. And I have to always put my dozer blade down. Once I put that down, I can lift a little bit more, right? And I would just love for it to be able to then, once I lift it up in the air and I bring it all the way into the cab so it's as close to my CG as possible, to then be able to also drive forward with this heavy log, not just be stuck in that one place. So counterbalance, is there an option? Even if it's just a water tank that I can fill up and drain. For number 7, I popped up the hood. Is it the hood? The back here. And just to show you, this right here, that is just sheet metal. And guess what's on the other side? That's me. I'm sitting in here. So it gets so crazy hot. There needs to be some kind of heat shield between what would be the firewall in here and the cab. Because if you just have a roof on this thing, no problem at all. If you have a cab, it gets so hot you can't operate it without modifying it, as I have done. And continuing on with number 7 here, you can see what I've done to mitigate the issue with the heat. So I haven't fixed the firewall itself or redirected the heat by adding more fans or anything. I have straight just removed a perfectly good door, which, you know, keeps me safe inside should this thing tip over. But that's gone now. And the sliding window on the other side, I added some duct tape to that because with the vibration of just moving around, that window just slides shut. So to get the most amount of airflow possible through here, door is gone, window is open, the fan is always running, and that seems to do the trick. Now I can operate it on hot days as well. And cold days, it's never an issue. It's hot enough in there. Number 8 relates to the seatbelt itself. So it's just a lap seatbelt. I always put my seatbelt on, well, at least recently I put my seatbelt on whenever I'm operating. But there is no harness going across your chest. And with the cab being as small as it is, I have multiple times knocked my head right in here. And it's not from the thing tipping over or anything, it's just from changing directions a little bit too abruptly, or picking up something heavy and it tipping a little bit, but not all the way forward. Just slamming my head in there way more times than I would like to. So ask if there's a 3-point harness option, because you will not regret it. For number 9 and 10, we get into things that are more deluxe. I don't know if there are options coming out of the factories in China for these mini excavators, but I would love for number 9 to have a floating dozer blade. So with a floating dozer blade, it will auto level for you. It is just fantastic option to have. This one works as well. It goes up and down, and that's it. I use it a lot more in reverse than forward, just for grading. I've used it tons for grading. And forward, you kind of just dig in. Rear, you can really level some stuff out. And finally, for number 10, the luxury option I would love to have is a quick coupler right over here. So for me to remove this bucket and put on another attachment, I have to get rid of this cotter pin right here, knock that one out, remove this cotter pin, knock that one out, and that's pretty much it. It is gone. Now if you have an attachment that uses hydraulics, such as the auger, then you have to obviously disconnect here first. And it's nice, this one comes with a three-way, so that you can choose if you're using the thumb itself, then you just leave it the way it is right now, or if you are using this option, then you would move it over. But a quick disconnect or a quick coupler allows you to just quickly release one bucket and pick up a different one. So if I had this bucket for digging and I had another bucket for more narrow for trenching, or if I had a grading bucket, it would be so great to not spend 30-40 minutes just going ahead and knocking those pins out, lubing up the pins, putting them back in again, getting the spacings right, all that kind of stuff. Just Google quick couplers. They are fantastic. I really wish I had one on this one. Now let me tell you about some of the projects I've done using this mini excavator. Basically, I find excavator projects all the time now. From gardening, I have over here moved so much dirt for the gardening and just leveled off the land, spread out new topsoil, gardening soil, compost, all that kind of stuff. It is fantastic for that compared to doing it by hand. Also, I've moved about 200 yards of fill dirt. If you look, this whole area right here used to be much more steep down towards a ravine down there where you have a seasonal runoff. I brought that up quite a bit, leveled it off in this area so that this is where we're gonna future build a garage. I've also built a dirt track. I have all sorts of electric quads, electric go-karts, and dirt bikes. And in the back of the woods here, just used a dozer blade, just moved. It was maybe 45 minutes to make a really cool dirt track. Top of that, I have done a drain system in here that just gets rid of a lot of the surface water, puts it down in there, using like a French drain setup. I have connected the old house that's up here to the brand new city sewer that's down there. That's 300 foot of trenching all the way, and then obviously down there for connecting down to the city sewer, you got to get about 6 feet down in the ground, or in my case, they accidentally installed it at 4 feet, so about 4 feet down. This mini excavator can go 10 feet deep. That's the main reason why I got this specific model, because I'll be installing some geothermal later where you want to have the coils pretty low. But yeah, you can see here, that's a clean out right here. We got some electrical going here for future lighting along the path. And yeah, all the way down there, more clean outs. And all of it was done with this excavator. I'm sure if I had someone come in and do it, it would at least double the cost of connecting to the city sewer. Here's another project. The seasonal runoff right here. Comes here, goes over here, and then goes over there. We got more rocks to put in, so project's still not done. But just digging this a little deeper so that the water won't spread out over onto the grass. Or what do we have here? Dutch clover, whatever kind of clover. Just keeping it down there. The excavator was perfect. Okay, it's time to wrap it up. So the 10 items I added were not things that I am upset about for this unit. It's just that things that could be better if I was to order it again. Just something to think about. I never operated an excavator before. Didn't know really what a thumb was until I just talked to a friend of mine. So all these kind of things, floating dozer blades and quick disconnects, whatever is available out there. Just think about the 10 items I mentioned and see if you go to place an order yourself, obviously review the first 2 videos I put out about first ordering one, second one, collecting the mini excavator and everything that goes into it. But before that, when you go ahead and order it, just think about asking, are these options available? And if so, it'll make your life a lot better. That's it. See you in the next one. Please like and subscribe. Cheers.